You are loved by the right people. That's something that my sister Hannah says to me. Hannah, I don't feel appreciated, though. Hannah, what if I don't find my people? Well, Tommy, you're loved by the right people. It sounds straightforward, but let me explain what that means to me anyways. It means that you have people to help, support, and to love you. It means that no matter what, they're behind you day in and day out. What it means is that if you don't feel appreciated or respected or offered a hand by the people surrounding you when you fall down, then you have every right to walk away to find those people. Don't struggle if you don't have to. Don't struggle to make people love you. Don't struggle to make people accept you. Do not struggle to make people understand you. Because not everybody will. And that's okay. As I stand here today, I see all of you. I also see moms and dads, family, boyfriends, girlfriends, friends. I see your support systems. I see your right people. I see those who showed up for you today. Today, we should not only celebrate our successes and what we have accomplished, but the people around us that helped us get to this point. Hannah's right. You are loved, you are valued, and you are respected. Thank you.
Good afternoon, parents, teachers, friends, and little siblings that were forced to come, and of course, the graduating class of 2023. While the start of our high school journey looked rocky because of the pandemic, we picked up our anchors and kept moving as shipbuilders do. If I'm being honest, I might as well have been blacked out at the end of my freshman year and all of my sophomore year because I couldn't even tell you what color my hair was back then. What I do remember is my intense longing to join the military because I wanted to be just like my dad. As the first man to love me and the first man to teach me what genuine effort looks like alongside my mom, I am forever grateful for him. 2 weeks before the start of my senior year, however, I had a quarter-life crisis. I say that because I've been told I'm too young to have a midlife crisis. I started to acknowledge that I was only interested in the military for external validation and the idea that it was too late to change my mind because senior year was just around the corner. Ever since the second grade, I was told I had a lot of potential. Growing up, I felt as though I needed to meet everyone else's standards of me in order to live up to that potential, and what better way to do that than following in the footsteps of someone like my dad. After considering the fact that I look horrible in camouflage, I also realized that I needed to pursue my own path instead of someone else's. Don't worry, Dad, camouflage still complements your bald head. I am now on the road to pursue real estate because I found my true desires: wearing cute clothes, talking, and making money. Whatever your plans are after high school, make sure to create your own path and avoid following others. Unless, of course, you're lost in the woods and see someone confidently walking by you. In that case, you should probably follow them. On a serious note, regardless of your class rank, your SAT score, your popularity, or how many times you got the privilege of sitting in Mrs. Glease's office, you all have the ability to create your own success. Whenever someone says that you have a lot of potential, take that claim lightly because no one truly knows the extent of your potential. You are the one that gets to decide how much effort you display and how many goals you want to achieve. Raise the standards for your future every chance you get. Congratulations again to my peers, and thank you to our parents and guardians for raising us, to our wonderful teachers for educating us, and to Jesus for giving us the patience to persevere through one of Mr. Guest's exams. As a practicing Christian, I give God credit for all of my accomplishments, and I'm excited to see what He has in store for my future, as I hope you are as well. Finally, to all of the incoming freshmen in attendance, my advice to you as the second-ranked student in this graduating class is, if you don't know the answer, choose C. It works out fine. Thank you.
Good afternoon, faculty, friends, family, and the class of 2023. I have a confession to make. I'm a fabulous procrastinator. I'm very skilled at it. One of my many methods is mindlessly scrolling on Pinterest. While doing this one day, I found a post that really stuck with me. It read, quote, "One of my college professors used to say, anything worth doing is worth doing poorly." I didn't understand that for years because I didn't do anything poorly. I had to do everything perfectly. end quote. The author went on to describe how she learned the truth of this quote living life with depression. For example, brushing your teeth for just 30 seconds when 2 minutes feels exhausting is better than not brushing at all. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly, because doing it poorly is better than not doing it. I wish I had heard this sooner. Unlike the author of this post, I have not been diagnosed with depression, but this resonated with me in a different context, academically. There have been simple assignments I never turned in because I couldn't figure out how to say exactly what I wanted to say in a way that was succinct, elegant, and made sense. It is so much easier not to do it at all than to do it perfectly, but it is so much better to do it imperfectly than not do it at all. It doesn't have to be perfect on the first try. You can edit, you can revise, you can try again. It's okay to fail. If you make a mistake, you can apologize and fix it. There's almost always a second chance. Do your best when you can, but if you don't feel up to giving your best to whatever it is you're facing, just finish it. Then come back later and make it better. This isn't the speech I started with. It isn't the one I thought I would write, but it's short and sweet, and most importantly, it's finished. Thank you.
Welcome, administration, faculty, staff, family, and friends. Good afternoon, class of 2023. Let's take in this moment. We made it to graduation. Thank you to everyone who supported me throughout my journey of education. I would like to dedicate this speech to my mom, who puts in the effort to encourage and strengthen me as I make my way through decision-making, life lessons, and hardships. She has taught me to take accountability for my mistakes, accept the past, embrace failures, and remember to add pork adobo. Nope, sorry, that was my bad. And remember to add vinegar to pork adobo. My mom has always instilled in me that my education is the most important thing to pursue. She was born and raised in the streets of Hawaii, where it was a tough time to live in an environment where education didn't seem essential. My mom is a high school dropout and had to pursue her college education later in life while simultaneously raising my older brother and me. I remember those late nights when I would see the downstairs light on and the smell of her midnight snack being heated up. This was when I knew her night would consist of working on her statistics homework. At the time, I didn't realize how impactful that was as I navigated through the obstacles of high school. I stopped taking life seriously as a freshman when I recognized that we were a low-income family. I mostly gave up. During the first 2 years of high school, I went through the motions and decided that college wasn't for me. Despite that, I kept a steady grade of at least a C in all my math classes throughout high school. Math is my weakness, but it also kept reminding me that I needed to work harder to secure my future. And each time I slowly slipped away from the focus of my education, I recall the memory of how my mom wanted a better future for her family, and that I'm not working hard just for myself, but for others. In retrospect, I should have done more for myself to further my education with the class that Morse has to offer. But that doesn't matter anymore because of how far we all have come together as a class. I can't dwell on the past, and neither should any of you. We have to be in the present, so that's far more important right now. The worry about failing a math test and whether or not people like you are ultimately silly narrations that don't matter, unlike the present you at this moment. My mom and I read Tuesdays of Maury by Mitch Albom. A quote from this book reads, "The way you get meaning into your life is to devote yourself to loving others, devote yourself to your community around you, and devote yourself to creating something that gives you purpose and meaning." Thinking back over these 4 years, I realized that my life has meaning, and so do all of yours. And each time we wake up, we are so lucky. We are here to grow and learn from our past. And now is a time when we are being released into the future, where we can strive for the best, exist in the present, and be sincere. Lastly, congratulations to the class of 2023 for making it through your own journey of Morse High School. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Throughout my years at Morse, I have learned so much from so many incredible teachers, staff, and students. I cannot begin to express my gratitude for all of their mentorship and support. Though I do not have time to share all of the advice of these wise people, I'd like to share one important thing I learned with you all today. Many of you know Mr. O'Leary, our former drama teacher here at Morse, who retired last year. Every year that he was at Morse, the theater department put on a play written by a Morse student. I remember Mr. O'Leary was always telling us theater folk to, quote, do the work. Do the work. But the work wasn't about memorizing our lines or blocking or cues, though we also had to do that. To do the work, we had to go to a place that was raw and unfiltered, finding our truth, however messy that may be. Doing the work was about honoring the playwright, having the courage to be emotional in order to do justice to the characters, to feel what the playwright intended us to feel, and tell a story. But the theater isn't the only place we need to do the work. As humans, we have a huge capacity to feel emotions. I think perhaps the single most important thing we can do to ensure a fulfilling life is to be open to feeling. Feeling will make life scarier in some ways, and more painful, but it will also make the happiness much greater. Don't be afraid to be messy. Don't be afraid to cry. Those of you who know me well know that I can't resist talking about an Ani DeFranco lyric whenever possible. One of my favorite lines is, quote, "When beauty asks a question, how often do you reply?" How often do you just look around and notice the beauty around you and let yourself feel in response? Let yourself reply to life, even when it's messy and ugly. That can be beautiful too. Do the work, as in learn to honor yourself and your life. Honor it the way Mr. O'Leary taught us to honor the playwright and the play. Look and listen for beauty. It's all around us. Reply. And sometimes when you feel yourself getting caught up in the bullshit, which we all do, remind yourself that there is more to life than this. You have the capacity to feel so much joy if you can embrace the mess. So embrace the mess, do the work, and reply to the beauty in your life. Thank you.
I'd like to dedicate this speech to my grandma, Diane, but we always called her Di-Di. She passed away in October 2020. Di-Di was an admirer of the arts and an ever-eager Scrabble opponent. She stood firmly for what she believed in and was unabashedly herself in ways that I aspired to. Di-Di was also an avid collector of antiques. Her apartment was a treasure trove for anyone in the market for yellowed books, miscellaneous tin cans, glass bottles, or innumerable wicker baskets. With each visit to her apartment, I'd dart room to room, discovering new mysterious trinkets delicately displayed on a shelf or tucked away in a drawer. Growing up, I never fully understood my grandma's fascination with antiques. Frankly, I still don't really see the appeal in displaying an 80-year-old vintage can of butterscotch pudding mix front and center on a bookcase. But that's what she was into, and it was always clear to me that her collection brought her great comfort and joy in life. Di-Di placed each of her collected antiques meticulously throughout her house. Each vintage bowling pin and every ancient clock face had its right place. So as her collection grew endlessly, nothing ever felt cluttered. Shuffling from her living room to her kitchen, Di-Di would smile, glancing at a china tea set resting on her coffee table, an old watering can precisely positioned on her windowsill, and a farm sign reading fresh eggs in barely legible chipped paint. These objects scattered throughout her home served to remind her of the delight she felt when finding new additions to her collection and the calm familiarity she associated with this